News's latest economic package comes as tens of millions of Americans apply for unemployment benefits. For the week ending April 11th, the Labor Department reported more than 5 million Americans applied for unemployment benefits. That brings the total number of Americans who have filed for unemployment to roughly 22 million. Joining me now by Skype to talk more about the economic impact of the coronavirus here in the U.S. is Joel Griffith, research fellow at the Heritage Foundation. Joel, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, as we've reported before, the Paycheck Protection Program ran out of money last week. How important is it for members of Congress to reach a deal on this latest relief package?
Look, for a lot of businesses, this is highly important. As you've mentioned before, we have had almost 20 million people file for unemployment. You have the typical business only has enough capital. If it's a small business, only has enough cash on hand to last about three and a half weeks. We're now 30-something days into the shutdown. So businesses do need access to this, but this has to be revised. The first time around, it's no mistake that we had these so-called loopholes in that legislation. There were a lot of special interest groups that were lobbying for large businesses such as Shake Shack that have thousands of employees to be able to apply for these loan forgiveness programs. This has to be addressed in this new package. We need to get aid directed towards those smaller businesses and the ones that need it most.
Joe, obviously, this is super important that we get this done. What's the holdup in getting it done?
Well, we see some individuals such as Speaker Pelosi that are holding this legislation hostage. They're saying that they want more aid to the states. And important to keep in mind is they're not talking about just aid to state and local governments to help with the healthcare crisis. You have a lot of very badly mismanaged state and local governments in certain parts of the country that are trying to use this crisis as a way to actually bail out their already very poor budget situations. They want all of us to go ahead and bail them out for their past mistakes. We need to go ahead and focus on this. Let's just be a standalone package, focus on getting aid directly to small businesses without any of these other special interests or big government needs attached.
This package, Joel, reportedly contains about $25 billion for coronavirus testing. How significant will that be in helping to reopen the country? And how do we know how it will be structured?
Well, testing in general is very important. We need to have tests. Of course, also, we need to have rapid results of those tests so that we can go ahead and trace contacts, people that have come into contact with those with the virus. This is important because we need to give governors and mayors the confidence to open up their cities and their states, because until we get the economy rolling again, we're going to see a lot of despair out there. And also, if we don't have the testing, if we don't have the test reports, that's going to mean less confidence on the part of people to actually go back to work and go back to business, even when they're given permission to do so. So that's important both from a confidence level for the legislators, the governors, and also for people just to get back out there and get back to their normal lives that we've had to put on pause.
Well, Joe, I want to talk about unemployment benefits quickly. Millions of people are still waiting for those benefits. Can you touch on that for us?
Yeah, this has been, of course, an unprecedented amount of filings. We saw over close to 20 million people file for unemployment benefits in just a few weeks. We've never seen anything this massive in the history of the country, and that's because we've never actually had entire states or cities shutting down. So it's important we get aid into the hands of those that need them. One of the things we'd like to see addressed by this is the legislation that was passed about a month ago increase the federal unemployment benefits to a level where actually a lot of people will end up earning more on unemployment than they were on the job. And while this might be a temporary benefit to individuals, this will actually delay the economic recovery longer term, because some people will be incentivized to actually stay home rather than go back to work once they have that green light. So we need to go ahead and make sure that we keep benefits going to those that need them. Of course, we want to make sure people are taken care of, but also ensure that those benefits that you receive on unemployment don't exceed what you're actually earning on the job, because we don't want to unintentionally incentivize people to stay home once they're able to go safely back to work.
Well, Joel, thank you so much for your insight. As always, we appreciate it. Joel Griffith, research fellow at the Heritage Foundation. Thanks again, Joel.